To this story now, Tshwane buses are running out of fuel. The city has been forced to hit the brakes on the services. Is this yet another example of a failing coalition? So as residents struggle to make alternative transport arrangements, our reporter Silindelo Masikane is checking who's responsible for the diesel shortage. Silindelo, good morning. The all-important question, do we know who in fact is responsible for the shortage?
Well, I think that's what we're here to find out. But according to the statement from the city of Tshwane, we understand that the diesel shortage is due to their service provider not actually being able to deliver on the diesel that is needed to operate the buses. But as of this morning, the bus services, despite the statement saying that the buses have been suspended, those that do have diesel actually have been operating since around 4:30 this morning. My colleague Joel Matlala and I are at the Tshwane bus depot here in the CBD, and you can see that you do have quite a number of buses that remain stationary. But some of the officials I was speaking to earlier on were saying that those buses that do have diesel have actually been going around doing their shifts since this morning, and I have actually witnessed some of those buses transporting commuters. But the question is, just how long will then the service last before, in fact, all these buses run out of diesel? But I am joined by a representative from the ANC here in Tshwane. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Majila. Maybe just give me a sense as to what your understanding is about what has happened here and why there is a shortage of diesel.
Well, the city is bankrupt. There's no money. They are unable to pay the services. It's not only the buses, the entire fleet, whether it's electricity or water or any other service that need fleet and so forth. It has been halted because there's no money. I mean, as the ANC, we've always said that there's serious mismanagement. I mean, you can quote the AG. I mean, we've always said that even waste is not collected, the traffic lights are not functional, the potholes are all over. It's a serious. I mean, ESCOM is owed 1.4 billion. Randwater is owed 1 billion. So it's the city. The center is no longer holding. It's a problem.
So who's to blame?
Well, it's the city leadership. I mean, who can you blame? I mean, those that are steering the ship. If the ship sinks, they are the ones who must take accountability. So Randall and the DA-led coalition must take the blame.
And what happens to commuters?
Well, they are stranded all over. I mean, the buses, you can see the bus depot.
But you can see one here. Here's a bus just coming in.
People, because these are city workers. I mean, it was stuck somewhere. Maybe they have just bought 5 liters of diesel just to make sure that it gets into the depot. It's a problem, you can see. I mean,
maybe then talk to me about the fact that the ANC was in power here in Tshwane for a very long time, and some would argue that you have left this coalition with these problems.
Well, it cannot be true. I mean, these guys have been in charge for almost 7 years now. So you can't be speaking ANC. When the ANC was still in charge, everything was proper, everything was operational. So you can't speak ANC in the midst of this challenge. I mean, it's all about the DA and its leadership. They are to take blame. You can't be speaking of ANC now. We were defeated in the polls because of some national issues and so forth, not because we were not performing in the city. Yeah. When we were still in charge of the city, Tshwane was one of the best performing cities, not only in South Africa, but in the continent.
I'm going to ask Joel Matlala to just walk a little bit closer. Like I said, Mfundo, I'm going to ask Mr. Majila to just come next to me because we do have some buses coming into the depot. When I was speaking to some of those who do work at the depot, they were telling me that in total there are about 240 buses, but they don't all operate, during the shifts. The number of buses that are operating on a shift basis are around 160, and according to one of those I spoke to, that around 150 of them had gone out onto their shifts from around 4:30 this morning. But you can see that inside the depot itself, we do have a number of buses that are stationary, and like I said, I was told that those that do still have diesel are operating right up until, I guess, they run out of diesel. And you can see that at this point we do already at around 9:30 this morning have at least 100 or so buses that are still inside the depot, just to show you that it does seem as though the fuel shortage will certainly suspend the service any day from now. Mr. Machila, perhaps then, what is your message to the city of Tshwane, the residents of the city of Tshwane?
Well, the message is clear that the city is being mismanaged. It's very important that our people start taking things serious. They should not take the scarecrows seriously, that the ANC is corrupt, the ANC this. I mean, the ANC is their government. They need to ensure that when the time is right, they go and register and they vote for ANC, so that everything runs properly as before. They know, I mean, during our tenure as the ANC, the city was a proper city. So we are saying to our people, wherever you are, we know that the city is dirty. You need to organize yourself and make sure that you clean, so that the city becomes better again, like during the tenure of the ANC. Where there are potholes, the people must organize themselves and ensure that they close those potholes, because waiting for this city to come and work, it's not going to work. If we are able to fix the street lights, the people need to organize themselves and fix the street lights, because, I mean, the center is not holding, and we need those services. So we can't rely on the DA. The people must now start doing work on their own. But the most important thing that the people need to do is to ensure that when the time is right, they register, and they must not be lied by any person, and they ensure that they defend their government, because this is the ANC is the only organization that can take our people out of the challenges.
But you're being very disingenuous, because even in ANC-led municipalities, the center is not holding.
Which one are you speaking about? Because I'm speaking about the city that I represent now. I'm the regional secretary of the ANC in the capital city, in Tshwane. I speak about Tshwane. When the ANC was in charge, I can't speak about other municipalities. There are people elected there to speak for those municipalities. But currently where I am, I'm speaking about Tshwane. When the ANC was in charge of Tshwane, everybody will tell you it was construction site everywhere. Roads were built. All the infrastructure that is here was built during the era of the ANC. So the ANC cannot be faulted for something they are not part of.
All right. So I think 2024 is here. You can hear that electioneering has begun, and of course we are really picking apart exactly who is to blame for the lack of service delivery in various municipalities here in Tshwane. A number of issues plaguing this particular city, and one of them being water. This morning, waking up to the fact that the bus services will be suspended due to the fact that there are fuel shortages. The city saying that they're not to blame, it's their service provider, but of course opposition parties in the city saying that the coalition, the DA-led coalition government, is the one to blame. We will be bringing you some reaction, of course, and the statement rather from the city officials who we are awaiting to meet us here at the bus depot. So as soon as they arrive, we will be bringing you that particular statement in terms of clarity around exactly how bad this fuel shortage is. The statement really saying that any day from now we will be seeing the suspension of the bus services.